Hi Cancer, this is Amanda Nardozzi. Let's get into your reading for May 6th to May 12th. Keep in mind there is a new moon in Taurus coming up on May 7th, so I do have an intuitive astrological video coming out around that time, so keep an eye out for that. Also check out other favorite astrologers, compare your charts, see how the energy affects you, and as always, drop into your heart space. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you, which messages are for others. I'm going to tune into my heart space and do the same. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for connecting me with I'm hearing like badass immediately. Like, I like badass energies of Cancer. Thank you for helping me channel uplifting and empowering messages for our Cancer collective. I'm dying to shuffle these cards like the way that I normally shuffle tarot cards, but they're, as you can see, they're very long. So I can't shuffle them the way that I want to. Thank you, Spirit. Highest light, truth, love. I really do see y'all encompassing like some badass energy. The main situation going on here is the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is taking on leadership role or stepping forward and being a leader for someone. I'm hearing some of you are being leaders in your community, some of you being leaders in your jobs. There's a certain area of life where you are stepping up and you are leading the way. Some of you are actually taking the torch and you're carrying it. So not some of you, it's not in your community, but it's almost like stepping up for yourself and taking the lead in your own life. It's almost like you've been given challenges before and you're like surmounting them, but it's almost like you're wrapping up some of those challenges. You're like at the tail end of it and you're moving forward feeling stronger because you have conquered those things. So you kind of are feeling like you're on your high horse here with the Six of Wands. And I'm actually getting like pretty powerful energy in like my hands. So some of you could be like energetic healers. But I'm getting like my heart chakras, like my heart chakras that are in my hands are like coming out. I'll have to look into that and see what that, let me tune in and see what the deal is with it. Some of you are just intuitive. Some of you are intuitive and I'm getting, usually I only get that with like highly sensitive individuals, which makes sense because we are connecting with the energy of Cancer. And Cancers are, they rule the moon, like, or the moon rules them. I don't know, but Cancer and the moon and astrology are like this. But you have the moon and you have the Four of Cups here running parallel to one another. Now the Four of Cups does indicate some apathy on the part of having different options and you're unsure of which path to take. And it's almost because you can't really decide, or it's like you're kind of stalling your feet in stagnation. So while I do see you picking up a torch and moving forward, it's almost an energy of like knowing that you need to make a choice and needing to, I'm hearing like I need to sit with it longer. I need to sit with it longer. Some of you have been sitting with it a little too long. Some of you are just, excuse me, some of you just start to happenstancing upon this choice and you're, I'm not even going to say that Spirit is telling you to like speed it up because that's typically the message that I get with the Four of Cups, but I'm getting that you're spending like an appropriate amount of time on it. You might feel pressured. You might feel like you need to push forward and make this choice very quickly. But I don't feel pressure coming from Spirit at all. And with the Four of Cups, it almost is like, you know, sit with it, make sure it's what you want. Just know that it's not going to be 100% perfect. You just need to use your intuition. So the moon, there's two sides of the moon. So on the one hand, it's highly intuitive. But on the other hand, it's having the rest of the world and a lot of the things in your situation being very obscure. They're not 100% clear. Things might not be as they appear. So you really have to rely on your intuition with the moon, even though, I don't know, I'm getting the word silly. It almost seems like the situation itself feels a little silly, or maybe like the path you're considering might seem a little silly, but figure out what feels good to you. Figure out what makes sense. I do feel like there's like a half logic, half intuition playing into this. Even though you don't really have any swords energy here, I do get just full-on wands. You will have to rely on that intuitive sense where your passions want to take you. You have the Four of Wands here. You also have the Seven of Wands. The Four of Wands is about happy home, happy family. You have a lot to celebrate here. So it's almost like there's a celebration happening with the Six of Wands, like leading the way, taking charge. It's almost like you've accomplished something or you've achieved something, because the Four of Wands does indicate a celebration of sorts. For some of you, this might be a wedding. This could be a graduation. For a lot of you, this is just celebrating coming out of a challenging time, and you're like, yes, let's go. But with that Seven of Wands running parallel to the Four of Wands, the Seven of Wands is almost like you're wanting to protect. It's almost like you want to protect this achievement. You want to protect the celebration. This could actually go into defensive mode a little bit, only because things are obscure at this time. So I'm getting like a sense of sabotage. Like the moment might feel sabotaged because of external pressures to make a choice and move forward. And Spirit wants you to actually just indulge in this celebration a little bit and not focus too much on the pressures, because it's almost like the time will come when you make that choice. The time will come where, that Four of Cups, where you're presented with a choice, the time will come where you pick. But it doesn't have to be now. Make sure that you're celebrating. Tensions, again, might be a little high because you might have a deadline around the time that you're celebrating. You might have to deal with something. But I can't help but feel like it's one of those things that are running parallel, and the way that you're dealing with it, just don't let that protective or defensive energy. Sometimes we do have to be on the defense, and that's okay, because we have to protect what we have. But sometimes it's also okay to release control here and say, you know what, I'm just going to step back and celebrate for a little bit because I achieved something, I accomplished something, it's my time to shine. And then just have a certain time during the day where you're going to think about it. Like pencil in the time to work it out or worry about it, because I see it potentially sabotaging the good moments, whereas that's the time when Spirit wants you to celebrate, if that makes sense. Let's see if we got for Oracle cards. You also have balance, spirituality, and practicality. Oh my gosh, guys, I literally just channeled, I just said, I sense some like logic and intuition here. And this is exactly what this card is talking about, because you're dealing with the physical, this is the practicality, and then also the spiritual of understanding where your intuition is taking you. I do see you straddling two different realities of understanding intuitively where you want to be, where you feel your guides are taking you, where you feel your higher self guiding you towards, but also the tensions of the current reality and how it might not 100% match up. And that's why these Four of Cups, when you're presented with these options with different ways of moving forward, nothing seems quite right, because you're looking at it and maybe it's like the logical choice, but intuitively it's like, I know that's not 100% where I need to be. And this is why you need to have that balance, because just understand that whatever it is that you choose with the Four of Cups, that's not all there is to it. So I like to talk about this because this is the Pokemon Tarot, right? So I get to be a nerd and talk about like my Pokemon knowledge. But the deeper meaning of this card, especially in this deck, is that you have this Eevee, you have this Pokemon named Eevee, and you have basically different things it can evolve into depending on which stone it picks. But once you evolve, it's almost like the door is shut to the other ones. You can't change your mind. You can't go back and evolve. If he chooses a Thunderstone and becomes a Jolteon, he can't choose the Flamestone and become a Flareon. He can't choose the Waterstone and become a Vaporeon. So those options have become closed. And it's almost like what you have to understand, though, is that each evolution, each cup, each opportunity presented to you, there are still move sets, there are still different abilities that become so powerful with each evolution, with each opportunity, that it's so drastically different. So what's happening when you choose one path, the doors might close on the other paths, but Spirit's like, that's okay, because as you continue on your journey, more paths will open up to you, better than you could have imagined, more powerful than you could have imagined. We're just not there yet, so you can't kind of scope out the path and see what lies ahead. So just understand that when you follow one path and when the other 2, 3, 4 doors close, understand that more doors will appear. in the future. And it might take you to unsurprising and unsuspecting places. So this is one of those trusting the process things and, doing what's best for you logically and intuitively. Understanding too that when you choose the decision, like the physical, a lot of us have to choose the physical over the intuitive feeling, or knowing, because it's very hard to be spiritually sensitive because we understand where we need to be in life, but sometimes we struggle figuring out how to get there. And because we have to navigate the physical first, we have to if you want to I don't know, if you want to start a woodworking business or something, you might have to build up a clientele before you actually carry on with that. You might have to go for a business degree in order to get situated in the type of business that you want, or you may have to go to medical school to be a doctor, but you intuitively, that you're meant for the hospital, and you're like, I want to be in the hospital now, but you have to study first. So there's that physical tension of, I need to do this thing first, or I need to, keep my finances up while I run this alongside it, or there's something here where you have to keep something balanced in the physical in order to work towards where you're meant to be. And even if you don't 100% know yet, even if you don't know the form that it takes, it's almost like your intuition is guiding you to say, this is the general area, or this is where I need to be. And I know I need to be over here in that general vicinity. It's almost like just figuring out how to manage the physical to get there, right? So let's see what other oracle messages we have going on for you. Because you don't need to know the path. You just need to take steps. Just take the steps in the present moment. That's going to be the greatest key for moving forward, and just having some heavy, heavy freaking trust in the process. You also have full moon in Leo. Go wild. Follow your passions. This is one of those things where it's whatever lights you up, really just fall into it. This is kind of reminding me of this wild woman energy. You don't have to identify as a woman to embrace this wild woman energy, but it's literally just, I don't know. I am getting an inner she-wolf type of thing, but it's almost I see when it comes to the celebration, the Four of Wands, when it's a celebratory card, the Wands does indicate wild passion. Wands can also indicate sex because that falls in line with passion as well. So if that's what you're wanting to go wild on, go for it, Cancer. But there's also it's just sometimes we really, really want to go out and go to a party, or we just want to go out on a nature hike, but we want to go it might be crazy for us to go barefoot or something. And we're what? Let's just go barefoot anyway. Those tiny little sparks that we have, and then we talk ourselves down and go, nah, I don't think I will. Spirit wants you to come out of the cage. It's almost I see you kind of being a little bird in a cage. But I see you being there by choice. I see you kind of feeling a little stuffy, and it's almost you got to break free and just let loose for a little bit, just to see what happens. Just because you want to live. We as spirits come to earth, to learn, to grow, to heal, blah, blah, blah. But we also came here to live, guys. I feel I can't remember which sign I said that to as well, but we came here to live. So, really relishing in the physical body, those senses, the physical touch, the taste. There's something about wanting to experience, to see, to hear, to feel. I don't know, just with all five senses, there's just something about wanting to live the human experience and wanting to relish in that. So we're really getting in touch with, considering this new moon in Taurus is coming up on the 7th, Taurus is all about indulging in the sensual. I feel Taurus energy knows exactly what this is. Taurus energy is coming into play when we are just indulging in our senses. We are falling in love with the beauty of life, the beauty of being human. And yes, we are one of the stars in the sky, but here on this Earth visit, it's just a small little blip on our soul's existence, right? So, we come here and we make it worth it, So, I don't know, just something fun to think about. I think it's really, I don't know, you just might find that you just want to let loose a little bit, and that's okay. I do feel it brings a fresh energy to, especially because you have a lot of wands in this reading. You have 3 wands versus the 5 cards you have. So this is it's going to feed your passions. It's feeding your spark. It's feeding the way to go. You also have Oracle, wait for important information. So again, like a lot of you are spiritual, but like needing to indulge in the physical for a little bit, needing to get in touch with the physical. There is something here, like, I don't know why I'm grabbing towards the physical for some reason in your reading. It's almost like you need to like, I'm not going to say get grounded because that's not, this is not the energy of somebody who is just beyond overwhelmed or anything like that, but I see you being very psychically or intuitively in touch. And this is where, like, just get lost in the throes of being human, get lost in the practicality, get lost in the physical, like touch things, feel things, taste things. But you guys are natural oracles. I feel like you're just like a conductor of information. Like, you don't have to try hard to connect. That's why a lot of your reading is coming through as like a very physical thing. Like, I don't know why that message is kind of bleeding into this card, but you don't have to, like, I see you just like sitting on the couch or like sitting at a computer or a desk or something. Like, I see you just hanging out, and then all of a sudden just boom, an epiphany lights you up, and that's like the channel or that's the information. I mean, hell, you can talk to spirits like me, and that's how you get your information. Like, there's like, I feel like you're just like a walking oracle, Cancer. Like, that's would be so interesting if that's the case. Or you could like go to sleep and dream of information that comes to you, or like you wake up like having like a whole different direction in life because you just channeled information from your guides in your sleep or from your higher self. That's so interesting. But I do feel this information coming to you, and this would almost kind of give you more certainty on this Four of Cups, this choice. I feel like some of the air will clear. It might not clear completely with, like, you know how we said things were a little obscure. I don't think it's going to clear completely, but I do think that important information may come through the spiritual sense, so to help you understand and grasp your next steps a little more clearly. So I'm not going to say sit around and wait for that. I feel like indulging in this celebration, that's going to be the vibration where spirit can get to you. That's going to be the vibration that spirit connects with you when we are having fun, when we are indulging in our childlike wonder, when we are expressing joy, love, gratitude, when we are celebrating. That's typically, so like, I don't know if you noticed, but like around weddings, holidays, that's when spirit is the strongest. Even gatherings like for really sad things, it's harder to sense spirit around that time for a lot of people, just because like a lot of like grief, like for funerals and such. But like when you go like to weddings and stuff, I don't know, spirit was hitting me pretty hard when I went to a wedding. I think it was like a year or two ago. But it was like just overflowing love of, oh, like, you know, they were giving me all this imagery of love, and like you can sense spirit's presence, and like the energy is just very high. Like holidays or like anniversaries, birthdays of people who have passed over, that's when you might get visits, like visitations from your loved ones. That's when they would come through, because that's when the energy is the strongest, when we're thinking about them, when we're in that space of unconditional love. So I think just getting lost in the celebration and getting lost in the physical for a little bit, and then just, I do feel like that information is just gonna come right in. And I don't think you'll have to try. You won't have to reach for it at all. You also have the Farther Gate, bold step forward. 2 of your other fellow signs got this, Cancer. This is a card of, I'm hearing like you're walking your path and you're walking strong. I see you wearing a helmet, you're prepped to go. You have a foundation set and you're rolling forward. I don't know. When I see bold step forward, it's almost, I see someone who's in hiding for a while and then comes out. But with your energy, I almost feel like you've prepared for this moment. Like I'm getting like a buck up, Buttercup, we're going in, and you just put your helmet on, you just throw yourself in there. Like, that's the type of energy that I'm getting here, is that you prepared for it. And yeah, there might be a little bit of nervousness, but I mean, you're like charging forward anyway. So like, you are making great, grand strides towards what it is that you want to do. But, you know, just like I said, step back, celebrate, have your moment of fun. Because again, like that bold step forward is really lining up with this 6 of Wands of taking charge, taking like a leadership approach, like really making moves for yourself, making moves for your team or your community. Like however you are showing up for yourself or however you're showing up for the world, you are taking like a bold step forward, and it's something more bold than what you've done before. Like you're just making bigger changes than you have before, and Spirit's like applauding that, like they're celebrating with you. So that being said, let's roll some dice and see if there are any extra messages for you here. You have 271. I'm pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. The next step on your path is down to you. Get clear in your heart about where you want this road to go. One more time. The next step on your path is down to you. Get clear in your heart about where you want this road to go. We've basically just been talking about that throughout this whole reading. So that was basically just confirmation and just like a clincher to take home with you so you can sit and figure it out. But like I said, I feel like it's going to be celebrating and getting into that higher space. That's when you get in touch with your heart space the most, and that's when Spirit comes through. And I feel like things will be a lot clearer for you around that as well. But that being said, Cancer, I hope this resonated with you in some way, and I hope it helped. If this does click with you, go ahead, like and subscribe and all the things. That way you can keep up to date with me. It helps the channel grow. So I would like to hear from you, actually. If this does resonate in some way, I would like to hear about your accomplishments and your achievements down in the comments below, if you so feel called. And I always I'm trying to remember, there's like a lot of stuff going on. I post weeklies, I post collectives in between, so that's a great thing to look forward to. I also teach tarot over on my Instagram and also on Facebook as well, on my Facebook page. So if you want to drop a follow, that stuff is in the description box below. We talk about each individual card and the different things that I've channeled through there. Very exciting. I also post some other stuff too. If you want to follow me and get to know me a little bit more, I do post my ferrets and like some other lifestyle things too. So very exciting. I also have personal readings open. So that is at amandanardozy.com. If you want to follow that link, there is a list of all of my services, and that way you can get a one-on-one with me. That being said, Cancer, I hope you have an amazing week. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.